Is there a style conspiracy afoot? Why does it seem like there's a social aversion to dressing up when it used to be a normal thing to do only a few decades ago? One of the biggest factors that often goes unconsidered is that society, frankly, doesn't want you to. So, join us as we consider why society at large pressures us to abandon being well dressed and what you can do about it. Fashion needs conformity. It's no secret the fast fashion industry makes its money by convincing the public to buy as much clothing as often as they possibly can. And we'll come up with, as Oscar Wilde puts it, a form of ugliness so intolerable that we had to alter it every 6 months. This form of marketing only works if the majority of the population buys into one of these trends as the new it thing to do. There's a reason many of the most egregious fashion trends of the 70s, 80s, and 90s mapped so well onto the rise of the fast fashion industry. Classic style is antithetical to this form of instant gratification, putting value on items that are usually more expensive up front, but are meant to last and be timeless and versatile, and thus rarely having to be replaced, if at all. And while sometimes classic style and a fashion trend might line up with each other, more often than not, they won't. So, adhering to classic style and dressing up generally often requires one to defy trends and those following them. As a result, devotees of the trend turn against those not following the trend because rejection of the trend is incorrectly associated with rejection of the trend followers. Doesn't always make sense, but that's how peer pressure works. What does make sense is why pushing social acceptance for trends and adherence to them, especially trends that involve dressing down, is in the best interest of fast fashion. More casual clothing styles like t-shirts and jeans require far less effort to assemble and generally are made from less expensive fabrics than what is typically associated with dressing up, but can be marked up at rates far higher than items like suit jackets, where fabric, labor costs, and assembly are far more involved and leaves less room for profit margin on quality examples. Meaning it's simply more cost effective for these companies to push dressing down. If you want to dress up, however, you shouldn't let these worries about trends or what others might think stop you. And while we know that dressing up when others don't requires a lot of confidence, we teach you exactly how to do it in our dedicated video. You might find yourself inspired to wear something like an outfit I have on today. So with my outfit today, I wore this navy suit. It does have a Glen check pattern to it. I absolutely love it. It's very classic. I also went with a contrast collar and cuffed shirt, and it's a light blue striped shirt. I really like it. I kind of went with like that banker style today. I paired the look together with this Fort Belvedere tie. I really love the color, and then it has some medallions to it in like a reddish color, also bringing out a few different colors, but on a very muted sense. I decided to also pair it with a pocket square from Fort Belvedere as well. It has a yellow trim going hand in hand with the colors that are also in the tie. For my shoes, I decided to wear these dark brown Oxford cap-toe brogues. I really love them. I feel like they go really nice with this whole outfit. Presumed pretensions. Because of the way dressed up individuals have been characterized in popular media, they've often gained a stereotype of trying to show off or belittle others. Since it's human nature to want to root for an underdog, an easy storytelling technique is to show someone who's good-natured but disadvantaged go up against well-dressed social elites who look down on this likable character for not being one of them. Jack in the Titanic or Charlie Chaplin's Tramp character are some of the most recognizable examples of this Hollywood trope being used in action. Plus, given suits are often associated with industries like finance or law, where the stakes are high and sometimes ruthless, business practices can win out. These darker sides of human nature can sometimes be associated with the clothing itself instead of the person. These perceptions can sometimes also be influenced by real-life interactions, where someone might have felt bullied or insulted by someone who had happened to be dressed up. Unfortunately, there are some members of the classic style community that revel into talking down about how others dress or gatekeeping access to this way of dressing. But just because that segment of our community is very loud, it doesn't mean that they speak for all of us. These media and real life experiences can all contribute to the perception that people who dress up are snobbish, mean, or self-obsessed, and not that some people who dress up happen to be snobbish, mean, or self-obsessed. Granted, there's plenty of historical examples of how elites did use clothing as a way to illustrate their social and financial superiority. Not unlike how luxury cars, McMansions, and certain watches are seen in a modern context. Nowadays, however, the uber wealthy today are more likely to be seen in cashmere sweatpants and secession baseball hats than suits and sport coats. But classic style is accessible for all, which, in a way, it always has been, even during the financial hardships of the Great Depression. The majority of people from all social classes still made an effort to dress up. So, despite society's perception to the contrary, there's needn't be anything innately snobby or elitist about dressing up. In our experience, if you dress up with genuine passion for classic style and carry yourself in an approachable, friendly way, the overwhelming majority of people will respond positively to you dressing up. This will come more from how you carry yourself or treat others rather than the clothing itself. Lingering resentment. Those who enjoy dressing down sometimes harbor resentment from those times when they were compelled to dress up. Perhaps as a child as a requirement for work, and almost all of us have had that bad experience at a wedding or prom wearing a cheap, uncomfortable suit that didn't fit us right. So when they see those who are dressed up, they might assume that such people are on the other side of those who force them to dress up. And they unfairly assume that because you make it a priority to dress up, you also inherently believe that everyone else should be required to dress up too. While we certainly like it when others dress up, we are glad that in most circumstances, people are free to choose how they want to dress. We would much prefer for some people to choose to dress up rather than seeing everyone forced to dress up. To ensure that others don't get the wrong idea about you and your opinions, refrain from vocally passing judgment on other people's clothes and make it clear that you dress up because you want to, not because you feel everyone ought to dress up all the time. Remember that you're free to dress how you like, and so are they, even if you are hoping that someday everyone will want to dress up. Hiding behind clothes. Because dressing up is not the norm for most people in their day-to-day life, it has increasingly become associated with somewhat performative situations, such as dressing up for weddings, big meetings, galas, or society events. As a result, there's an assumption that those who dress up do so to hide who or what they really are, or trying to compensate for something that they lack. Tech innovator Peter Thiel is credited with saying, "In Silicon Valley, wearing a suit in a pitch meeting makes you look like someone who is bad at sales or worse at tech." An odd sentiment to be expressed by someone who is regularly photographed in suits. This belief that posers wear suits while true innovators wear whatever they want is more prevalent on the west coast of the US than it is on the east coast. But it does capture a sentiment that is becoming increasingly common, that truly gifted, influential, and creative people don't have time to worry about their clothes and rely instead on very simple casual garments or uniforms like Steve Jobs' black turtleneck. We think overall, it is important to acknowledge that capable workers and creators can wear basically anything. Although we do feel that, generally, dressing up shows a foresight, self-awareness, and creativity that behooves anyone. If other people think that dressing up means that you're not a competent person, the easiest way to prove them wrong is to be classy, confident, and competent. After all, you're much more than just a stuffed shirt. Ultimately, your clothes should be a positive augmentation of what is inside, so never try to hide behind your garments or classic style. Rather, focus on being the best person that you can be, and not exclusively on wearing the best clothes you can find. Of course, if dressing well imparts you with genuine confidence and helps your talents and abilities to shine, all the better. Finally, some negative perceptions of dressing up come from people that simply assume that they couldn't dress up, and so they think ill of those who can. This could happen due to the lack of knowledge, comfort concerns, or financial limitations. It is similar to someone who's not in shape might resent someone who regularly goes to the gym as they might project this insecurity onto the person without anything to prompt it, because it's something that they think they can't do and respond by reacting negatively to those who can. The best way to solve this problem is by being open about the pitfalls and growth you've experienced on your menswear journey. Since no one starts out with all the answers and everyone will inevitably make mistakes along the way. This could even be a good time, respectfully and without pressure, to invite others to try dressing up, since the positive encouragement could be what they need to make the positive change in their own lives. To help others to better understand the passion and genuinely positive effects that come from developing your own personal style. Now that you have a better understanding of why there's social pressure to not dress up, you'll be better equipped to resist that pressure if you want to break the mold and dress up yourself. Feel there's a point that we missed in this video about why society doesn't want you to dress up? Let us know down in the comments.